Alright, welcome back to Sunless Sea. So I've ascertained where our initial passenger wanted to go, and that was Polythreme. And we also need to go to Guider's Morn for the Admiralty. So I think that setting sail for the east here is going to be a good idea. First, let's try to spend some of our Admiralty's favor to get some free fuel, because we're only at 3. This is a hearts challenge. We'll either get 2 or 3 depending on if we pass or fail. Basically just trying to persuade the quartermaster, so I'll do this a bunch of times. Alright. That's good. I'd like to get up to 15 fuel. And let's do 16 and 12 supplies. Usually you want about a 3 to 2 ratio, fuel to supplies. That's a 4 to 3, so that works. We still have 858 echoes, we're looking good. So we're going to set sail to the east. And we're going to head over in this direction. And while I'm at it, I could speak to my officers. I don't know if anybody has any quests that will end up with me going over here for now, though. So I'll probably just hold off onto their stories until I get this first mission done. We'll stop off here in the Shepherd's Isles once more. We can do a new tale. We did the Standing Stones last time, so let's do the 3 graves. Up from the Z-bed. You know the drownies, the sailors what won't rest? Well, they rest here. I seen 'em come up out of the water all white and dripping, and dig themselves into the ground. They take turns. I think they miss the feel of earth. Got a tale of terror and a Z story. And we can do this port report. We've already read that text, so that's good. Let's set sail. Try to avoid that pirate ship there. Oh, come on, fuck off. Actually, we could crush that ship in a fight, but we could probably beat that other one too, for that matter. But we're just gonna keep moving. Got hit a few times, lost some hull, but it's not until the hull gets to, below 50% that it really becomes a bigger matter for concern. We hear those voices that will not be drowned. This is the sea of voices. We are close to Polythreme, where nothing is truly dead. There's Polythreme. Commingle, obey, endure, forlorn. Polythreme here is screaming. Taciturn clay men, evasive clothes colonies, walking like humans, cobbles that groan underfoot, on the hills above a palace villa of marble. But even that writhes like buried bones in an earthquake. Ask about the House of the Keel for the unsettled salvager, that's our passenger. The ancient captain in Venderbite said this would advance her search for Lady Black. When flesh carved stone. The clay men profess ignorance. The benches wail too much to be sensible, but there is an ancient, long-winded harbor wall that remembers. The house of the keel made exiles of themselves, it says in deep, crotchety tones. They boarded their ships and took to the sea, far from land. They took axes, their ships, sank them and followed them, man, woman, child, into the depths. In abysses they built their fathomless churches, and resumed their worship of Lady Black, spirit of the deeps. The unsettled salvager holds onto your arm for support as you walk back to your ship. I need to dive again, she whispers. Grant me a suit, Captain. You do have one in your possession. You could allow it the next time you set sail. She knows what she must do. What news from Polythreme? Gathering intelligence. What lives? The king with 100 hearts rules from his palace above the city. He is never seen. He makes no treaties with other lands, but there's unrest in the air. The claymen you speak to are obedient and humble, but they speak nervously of those who are not, the maimed, the rebellious, the unfinished. Okay, let's see, how much space do we have in our hold? Plenty. We can carry claymen. Carry claymen to London. Are they passengers or cargo? They're certainly the easiest passengers imaginable, unless, just unless, one turns out to be an unfinished man. They troop aboard. Each one lies down in its appointed position next to the other, nestled snugly, head by foot. We are for London, one explains to you. Let's see, we could sell our casket of sapphires here for 95 echoes. We can also buy some claymen that we can equip to our ship. But for now, I think we're good. Let's try to get out of here. Where on earth is Guider's Morn? We're going to circle back around from the north, I think, and hopefully be able to find it. Here we go. Permission to dive. The unsettled salvager has requested a diving suit so that she may descend and find Lady Black, a spirit understood to dwell in the abyssal depths. You could grant her permission in a diving suit and allow her to throw herself into that blackest black, or perhaps you could bring her back to London and commit her to the Royal Bethlehem Hotel. Sure, let's give her permission. It is what she wants. To rise no more. You help the salvager don the heavy diving suit. The two of you are alone on your deck. Your crew has refused to be present. Once dressed, the salvager clanks over to the gap in the railing. She stares down into the black before turning to you. She holds her hand over her heart and leaps backward off the deck. An apocyanic spray bursts from the calm Z. Exactly 21 minutes later, the line goes taut. You draw up the line. But there is no one in the suit you draw up, only ancient axes and adzes, discolored by salt, tied to the suit with strands of kelp. We've gained 5 outlandish artifacts. Burning blue, a hiss of horror from the lookout. The glim lamp at the front of the ship is sputtering and arcing, fizzing with blue light. Even as you watch, the blue fades, but it's not a good omen. We'll attempt to calm the crew. There's a perfectly natural explanation. Light meets dark. The darkness underneath is more than the absence of light. It's a physical presence which distorts the shape of the world. Your light melts the darkness, restoring sanity to the world. You explain something of this to your sailors. It's not the first time they've heard it, but they seem slightly less nervous. I like this line a lot. The world is webbed with invisible lines. You've crossed one. Tighten them, and it would split like a fruit. Here we go. We found Gators Moor, and we just gotta sail in here. I knew it would be somewhere around here. The locations of the cities actually change somewhat on each playthrough. A few of them are static, but others can be all over the place. Gators Moor. The Moor is a stalagmite vast as a crag, and its foot has no safe harbors. The Corsair's citadel nestles halfway up. An intricate system of winches takes the strain, and your ship rises slowly from the sea. Her hull creaks in protest. Grizzled sailors groan and cling to stanchions. Higher, higher, now the Untersee shimmers like glass below. Children clambering in crevices cheer and wave alarmingly. The winch motor slows, and you hang in a cradle next to a red-bowed pirate cutter. Let's see. Let's try to gather intelligence first. Gators Moor swarms with pirates, smugglers, and captains of uncertain allegiance. You could learn a lot here, but you'll need to go carefully. A dislike of spies. You and your more villainous-looking sailors join a dice game. Villainous-looking, but you know for a fact that she ties to charity and has a delightful singing voice. The topic turns promisingly to pillage and ambush, but your sailor is a little too forward with her questions. There is a scuffle and a stabbing. You escape. She does not. So we've lost a crew member. Let's pay the loitering docker for his strategic information. Admiralty sent you? Price has gone up. It's not safe here. You'll pay the difference, won't you? A grin. You're a generous soul. You'll have your reward on the other side of the river one day. And here's a little reward for you now. Good sailing to you. The report is barely legible. Perhaps that's part of the code. The Admiralty will know. Let's try to explore the Moorn. There's a surprising quantity of actual landscape on the Moorn. It's vertical, admittedly, but once you find the beast paths and urchin roads, you can traverse it as you would a rocky moor, with an additional throatful of lurching terror. A contest of riddles. Fisherfolk sailors, a shady couple of likely pirates, and is that a drownie down by the water's edge? They sit round a fire at the Z's edge, passing around a bottle of something viscously black. They're wagering on riddles. Will you join them? These are all tough challenges. We're not too good for these. We'll try betting an echo on a simpler riddle. One of the fishermen is bursting to try it. A whale's eye? The fisherman chuckles and pounds the ground with a fist. City folk, he crows. City folk, pay up. Overhear rumors of a pirate poet. Landlubbers fear pirates. Pirates fear the poet. Lies, nonsense, glimmers. Some say she's a clay man who freed herself with the power of verse. Possible. Others insist she's the personal muse of the king with the 100 hearts. Unlikely. One claims she sails on a living ship made of the still screaming skulls of her victims. More sober voices mutter that no, it's just an Alcaeus-class vessel. Whatever the truths, few have fought her and survived to tell the tale. Only the bravest of captains risk the lonely parts of the sea where her flag is said to fly. We'll try that one more time, see if we get a different one. No, we don't. Okay. Well, it's a shame we couldn't get that port report, because that would have been worth something. We'll stop by the Hunter's Isle on the way in and eat lunch with one of the sisters. Grab a port report, and we'll do lunch with Cynthia again. Same story of the murder, we got a tale of terror, and we've gained supplies. Alright, let's pay a visit to the Alarming Scholar. Now that we have more of these things, let's share another outlandish artifact. We did this previously. That's 100 echoes. And now our favors have increased to 3. Let's see, anything else that we can do? How many artifacts do we have? We still have 4. I'll do a few more things. We'll do a Memory of the Distant Shores. We'll trade in one of our Z stories. And then we'll trade in one more of our artifacts. Actually, I'll do one more just to see if I can get to 4. Yeah, there we go. I don't exactly recall what the material payoff was for this, but there was something, so... We'll visit the Admiral. We have the strategic information, but I believe that we can actually combine 2 strategic informations into a vital intelligence. So it may be worthwhile to hold off onto that. So let's see what he needs. Or if they need anything in particular, I suppose. The Chapel of Lights, somewhere in the northeast, somewhere northeast of London. Alright, let's just submit the ordinary port reports. Gator's Mourn. Alright, nothing interesting there in that dialogue. Hunter's Keep. Shepherd Isle, we'll try as fact, but he doesn't buy it. Polythreme. The king with 100 hearts. What a useful fellow. Without his exports, I'd be delivering my own coal. Not bad. Let's go into London and deliver those clay men. This is where they wanted to be, or at least where they're supposed to be. Ashore, one by one, they rise, uncomplainingly, with no trace of stiffness or discomfort from the long voyage. The deck resounds beneath their heavy tread. A shroom yard manager waits on dock, tapping her foot. About time, she says. Here's your payment. Come along now, you. There's a good construct. We got 120 echo. That's not bad. Let's see. We don't quite need to repair yet. Once we get below like 40, I would say, is when we really need to consider getting repairs. But we're still good for now. So let me take a look here at the map. We can head up to the Chapel of Lights and do a bit of story stuff there next time, and then we can make that report. So for now, I think that this is a good leaving off point.